Why do some people resort to silence instead of addressing conflict head-on? Is it a form of punishment, a shield, or something even more complex? Get ready to explore the dark psychology behind the silent treatment, understanding why it's used, how it damages connections, and the deep-seated motivations that drive this passive-aggressive behavior. Have you ever been on the receiving end of the silent treatment? One moment you're talking, maybe even arguing, and the next, nothing, just a wall of silence. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and honestly, it can be incredibly painful. This deliberate withholding of communication is a tactic many of us have experienced, whether with a partner, a friend, or a family member. But what's really going on when someone gives you the cold shoulder? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on this common yet destructive behavior. We'll uncover the psychological mechanics, the hidden motivations, and most importantly, how to deal with it. Let's start by defining what the silent treatment is and what it isn't. It's not simply taking a moment to cool down during an argument. A healthy timeout involves one person saying, "I need some space to think, let's talk about this later." It's a temporary pause with the intention of re-engaging. The silent treatment, however, is a prolonged and intentional refusal to communicate. There's no endpoint given, no promise to return to the conversation. It's an indefinite shutdown, leaving the other person in a state of limbo, feeling ignored, invisible, and completely shut out. So why do people do it? The motivations can be surprisingly complex, but they often boil down to a few key psychological drivers. One of the most common is a need for control. When someone feels they're losing control of a situation or an argument, they might use silence as a way to seize power back. By refusing to engage, they force the other person into a position of uncertainty. Suddenly, the person on the receiving end is the one trying to fix things, apologizing, and seeking a reaction. The silent person holds all the cards, controlling the emotional climate of the entire relationship. They decide when or if communication will resume. It's a passive way of saying this relationship continues on my terms. Another major reason is punishment. In this case, silence is used as a weapon to intentionally inflict emotional pain. The person giving the silent treatment feels wronged or hurt, and instead of expressing that hurt with words, they use their absence to make the other person suffer. They want you to feel the same pain they feel. It's a form of passive aggression, a way to retaliate without having to engage in direct conflict. The message is clear: you hurt me, so now I'm going to hurt you by withdrawing my presence, my affection, and my validation. This can be especially damaging because it leaves the recipient guessing what they did wrong, often leading to intense anxiety and self-doubt. But it's not always about power or punishment. Sometimes the silent treatment comes from a place of deep-seated fear and an inability to handle conflict. For individuals who grew up in environments where expressing emotions was seen as weak or dangerous, or where conflicts always escalated into something terrible, silence becomes a defense mechanism. They may have never learned healthy communication skills. Confrontation feels overwhelming and threatening, so they shut down to protect themselves. In their mind, silence is safer than the potential explosion of an argument. It's a learned response, a shield they put up to avoid feeling vulnerable or getting hurt. While it's still harmful to the relationship, the intention isn't necessarily malicious. It's self-preservation. Let's talk about the impact. What does the silent treatment actually do to us and our relationships? The effects are far from trivial. On a neurological level, being ignored or socially excluded lights up the same areas of our brain as physical pain, that feeling of being stabbed in the gut when someone you care about ignores you. It's not just in your head, your brain is literally registering it as a painful event. This is because, as social creatures, our sense of self and safety is deeply tied to our connections with others. Ostracism is a primal threat. Emotionally, the silent treatment is devastating. It can make you feel invisible, worthless, and profoundly alone. You start questioning everything. What did I do? Are they going to leave me? Do they even care about me anymore? This uncertainty creates a constant state of anxiety and stress. Over time, this erodes your self-esteem. You might start to believe that you are indeed the problem, that you are unlovable, or that you deserve to be treated this way. For the relationship itself, the silent treatment is like a poison. Trust is the foundation of any healthy connection, and silence shatters it. It prevents any possibility of resolving the underlying issue. The problem that triggered the silence doesn't just disappear. It festers. Resentment builds on both sides. The person being ignored feels hurt and angry, and the person giving the silent treatment often holds on to their own grievance. It creates a cycle of disconnection where genuine intimacy becomes impossible. A relationship cannot survive, let alone thrive, without open and honest communication. So how do you break this toxic cycle? If you're the one on the receiving end of the silent treatment, it's a difficult position to be in. The first thing to remember is that you cannot force someone to talk to you. Trying to break down their wall with constant pleas or apologies can sometimes make things worse, especially if they are using silence for control. Instead, try a different approach. First, take care of your own emotional well-being. Recognize that their silence is a reflection of their inability to communicate, not a measure of your worth. Don't get sucked into their emotional game. Stay calm and centered. Then you can try to communicate your feelings in a non-confrontational way. Use I statements. For example, you could say, I feel hurt and confused when there's silence between us. I want to understand what's going on, and I'm ready to listen when you're ready to talk. This expresses your feelings without blaming them, and it opens the door for future communication without demanding it. It's also important to set boundaries. You can say something like, I understand you might need space, but I can't be in a relationship where issues are handled with prolonged silence. We need to find a better way to communicate. This isn't an ultimatum, but a statement of your needs for a healthy relationship. Now, what if you're the one who gives the silent treatment? It takes a lot of courage and self-awareness to admit this. If you recognize this pattern in yourself, the first step is to understand your triggers. Why do you shut down? Are you trying to control the situation? Are you trying to punish the other person? Or are you simply overwhelmed and scared? Once you identify the root cause, you can start to learn new, healthier coping mechanisms. If you feel overwhelmed during a conflict, instead of shutting down completely, try telling the other person you need a break. Say, I'm feeling too angry or overwhelmed to talk about this right now. Can we please take 30 minutes to cool down and then come back to it? This is a proactive and respectful way to manage your emotions without punishing your partner. Learning to use I statements to express your feelings is also crucial. Instead of silence, try saying, I felt really hurt when you said that, or I'm scared this argument is going to get out of control. It feels vulnerable, yes, but it's the only way to build true intimacy and resolve conflict constructively. If you find it incredibly difficult to break this habit, seeking help from a therapist or counselor can be immensely beneficial. They can provide you with the tools and support to develop healthier communication patterns. The silent treatment may seem like a powerful tool in the moment, but in the long run, it only creates distance, pain, and resentment. True strength in a relationship isn't about winning an argument or having control. It's about having the courage to be vulnerable, to communicate through difficulties, and to work together as a team. It's about choosing connection over control and conversation over silence. Healthy relationships are not about avoiding conflict, but about how you navigate it. Every disagreement is an opportunity to understand each other better and strengthen your bond. By leaving the silent treatment behind, you open the door to a more honest, resilient, and loving connection. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this complex topic. If this resonated with you, please give this video a like and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments if you have ever dealt with the silent treatment and how you handled it.